So The Flash screened at CinemaCon, and all I can think of after seeing the trailer and reading this article we're going to cover today from Bounding Into Comics,
that is one big pile of shit.
It's probably going to make a considerable amount of money with all the cameos that have been teased.
It's me, Batman.
You know, reuse of some storylines from previous movies.
Smell shame.
Listen up, because the Snyderverse is dead. It ain't coming back.
We talked about this, and
now I'm not championing the cause of James Gunn or anybody else at DC, Peter Safran or any of those people right now.
Nope.
Because frankly, I don't care. They're all a bunch of weirdos, especially James Gunn.
How dare you?
I did go on record saying I think, opening weekend it'd make about 200 million worldwide, plus or minus 15. I probably lowballed that by about 150 million, but I did that intentionally. I also had estimated about a 50% drop, 50 to 55% between weeks 1 and 2 when this hits in June on the 16th, I believe.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So we'll see how far I am off, and I'll stick by that. There's no sense in backtracking now. I was live on record saying it. We'll stick with it and just see where it ends up. It's just a fun little thing I did to kind of, play the guessing game with where this dumpster fire will end up. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the article, shall we?
Well, we're waiting.
CinemaCon, the Flash test screening reveals identity of Dark Flash and confirms DC Legacy cameo. With CinemaCon behind us, we have new details to share concerning The Flash, its plot, and some revelations about key characters, including the 2 variants of the Barry Allen. This is thanks to a screening held at the convention, which many were expecting leading up to the event, and it didn't take long for fans in attendance to run to Reddit and social media. Here we see a scene with the 2 Barrys, that's 1 Ezra Miller that's 2 Ezra Millers too many, let's be honest. Be aware though, as Comic Book Movie reminds everyone, even if the intel from CinemaCon is accurate, it does not mean the cut of The Flash shown there was final. Scenes can be taken out or added between now and June, the release date, which may slightly alter what we have to share or nullify it all to a large degree. In any case, here we go. Starting with The Flash's secret origin in the DCEU. Soon after a team up with Batman and Wonder Woman, a good sign for Gal Gadot's status within the film, it's revealed Barry got his powers in 2013, the same year Man of Steel was released and took place, and secretly took part in the background. Because of course he did, that's a necessary retcon to make this movie make any kind of sense whatsoever.
Shite. Oh yes. Shite.
General Zod, played by Michael Shannon, was back in the trailer and apparently in the movie here, which I think it looks terrible. I don't think it makes any sense, but they're bringing this back to 2013 and the Man of Steel, but ignoring all the Snyderverse stuff.
Good.
Donning a crude costume, he went to Metropolis, they're talking about Barry Allen, to protect the city from Zod's invasion and save civilians. Barry contemplates that time even harder after his dad fails to see an acquittal of murder charges and keep him behind bars. This is the point where Barry considers going back in time to save his mom.
no, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
He talks to Bruce, they're speaking of Barry, played by the Ben Affleck version.
Ben Affleck is naked in my bed. Ooh, looks like the Tooth Fairy was extra happy with you.
Who tells him he could destroy everything, but he goes back anyway. All it takes to save his mother is hiding a can of tomato soup.
What? What the fuck?
Which sends her to the store and keeps her out of the house at the time of the fatal accident. There's no mention of Reverse Flash or who's responsible here.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! What? It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
That said, Barry tries to make it back to the present to see the fruits of his labor, but he's attacked by Dark Flash and left stranded in 2013 with his younger, depowered self. Barry gives his variant his abilities, although it costs him his own powers, Reality doesn't wind up much better when Zod invades with no Superman to stop him. The only recourse the two Barrys have is heading to Gotham to seek Bruce's help. At that juncture, they find Michael Keaton's Batman has replaced Affleck's, and timelines and realities within the multiverse have folded in on themselves, as in the Flashpoint storyline. I still say that's one of the best DC animated movies, is the Flashpoint paradox. At first, the Burtonverse Bruce has no interest in helping them, but soon he comes around when he realizes it's their actions that created the new entangled timeline. The only chance they have is to locate Kal-El, and their search sends them to a Russian prison.
My father! My father! I found my father! Oh my God!
Obviously, they don't find him there. Instead, they discover Kara Zor-El, Supergirl.
That's
And this is one of the worst CG scenes in the trailer, is her flying next to the jet. She dispatches the guards after powering up, saving her new allies, one of whom develops a crush on her that becomes important later. And I find that odd considering it's Ezra Miller. You know what? Never mind.
gay.
Meanwhile, the Zod situation gets worse as he starts terraforming the planet again. Modern Barry needs his powers back to be in the fight, so Kara flies him into a lightning storm and successfully recreates the conditions of his origin. His powers restored, the quartet engages Zod with a disastrous outcome, the cost of Bruce and Kara's lives. Present-day Barry determines they've entered a fixed point in the timeline, but his younger self refuses to give up. He goes back in an attempt to save Kara, with whom he's smitten, and everyone else, but tries several times before disappearing. Dark Flash emerges from the Speed Force and reveals he is the 2013 Barry.
He's a monster.
He'd spent years, it turns out, trying to fix the timeline to no avail, eventually growing to loathe his future self for screwing everything up. Boy, that sounds like Ezra Miller in reality.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
The latter thus time travels one more time to undo saving his mom, which takes him through the Speed Force for cameos. Yes, and here's all the member berries that everybody was looking forward to in this movie, more so than the actual star and main character. Comic book movie corroborates the previously reported guest appearances by Nicolas Cage, Helen Slater, Christopher Reeve, George Clooney, and Adam West, but with caveats. They urge readers to temper expectations and explain the sequence is very VFX heavy. We might only see the shapes of these characters more than the actors. However, we might be treated to the sight of Henry Cavill through recycled footage. Oh boy, the Superman that should have been that never was. Making it to the altered point in time, Barry puts the soup can where it belongs to ensure his mom is killed, and the timeline goes back to normal. He also ensures his dad goes free and runs into Bruce Wayne, except it's not Affleck or Keaton, though it was going to be. Only his feet are shown. Warner Brothers may place a cameo here, possibly Clooney.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
But we can't say for certain. Originally, Keaton and Supergirl Sasha Calle would meet Barry at the end to set up DC Films' rebooted DCEU that's no longer happening. Neither is a supposed Crisis on Infinite Earths setup that makes use of the Snyderverse, which is purged completely and goes unmentioned.
We talked about this and...
I know what you did. You're a damn pedigree. All right, just get the hell out of here. I got a goddamn campaign.
So there you have it. There's a lot going on there in this movie so far from what we know from the screening at CinemaCon. The cameos said to be very VFX heavy, which, I mean, let's face it, Helen Slater, I don't know, she's got to be in her 60s, if not older. You have Christopher Reeve has passed away. No, this is going to be a mess. I have no interest in this. Covering the lead up is entertaining just to hear how insanely bad it's going to be. And this movie is going to be bad. Like I said, though, it'll make normie money. Normies will pour out because of the cameos, especially after the trailer. Reading a lot of the discourse online from people who aren't, who don't cover entertainment the way we do here at the channel is, it's laughable but sad at the same time. Because if this movie was made, years ago, it could have been done really well. But given everything that's going on now, I mean, we know the way it's going to turn out, and it's not going to be good. Much like pretty much anything else coming out Aquaman 2, nobody's going to go see that. That movie's going to shit the bed harder than Amber Heard. You have Blue Beetle, which now with one line in the trailer has ruined a lot of it for a lot of people. And, you know, Batman's a fascist. Well, I mean, this is a leftist view, let's be honest. This isn't just the quirky, you know, socialist uncle. This was intentionally there to drum up the kind of conversation about it that it did, which is probably going to be more relevant than the actual movie itself, given the results of Shazam and Black Adam at the box office. These films are DOA, especially now that they're being wishy-washy about moving Ezra Miller forward with great reason. I mean, Ezra Miller is a garbage human, let's face it. There it is, folks. Those are my thoughts. I don't foresee this being very good. Will they probably pop in some cameos? Yes, that haven't been added yet. Some of this will possibly change before the release. There's just over a month and about 2 weeks before release of this movie. So, and if Hollywood has taught us anything, they have no problem moving things up into the 11th hour. So now it's your turn. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Are you going to see The Flash or not? Are you going to see, you know, Aquaman 2 when that comes out, I believe in December, or Blue Beetle when that drops? Or are you going to see The Flash? Let me know if you've abandoned DC altogether and the superhero genre, which I'm about at that point. It's pretty much played out. Definitely due to the dip in quality and the identity politics becoming far more prevalent than good writing. I'm Etep from the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of you. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.
It's better to burn out than to fade away. I could do this all.
You're lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
It's a waste of good suffering.